Have you ever woken up from a dream and thought, what on earth was that all about? Or maybe, why do I even dream at all?
It's something pretty much everyone experiences.
Right.
I mean, totally relatable, but still so mysterious.
Exactly. So today we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating science behind your nightly adventures. We're going to try and unpack the latest research on why your brain crafts these incredible narratives and how it uses them to process memories, emotions.
And even how dreams function as a kind of um, internal virtual reality simulator for the brain. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
And we'll explore how different sleep stages give rise to different kinds of dreams, not just the big memorable ones. And uncover some surprising functions dreaming serves for your waking life. Consolidating memories, sure, but maybe even crucial brain development too.
Right. And our sources for this deep dive, they're from, cutting-edge neuroscience journals, lots of solid sleep research. So we should get a really comprehensive look at what's going on when your mind goes offline each night. Hopefully by the end, you'll have a whole new appreciation for what's happening inside your head, maybe even a fresh take on those really bizarre dreams you just can't shake.
Yeah, a new perspective.
Okay, so let's start with something lots of people think they know. For a long time, the common wisdom was dreams only happen during REM sleep. But the science, well, tells a richer story, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's a bit of a myth, actually. While REM sleep is where we tend to have those really vivid, often quite bizarre story-like dreams, it's definitely not the only time we dream. We dream during non-REM sleep, too, and REM.
Okay.
The main difference isn't really if you dream, but the nature of those dreams. They feel different.
That's fascinating. So, okay, unpack REM sleep for us then. What makes it unique? It gets called paradoxical sleep, right?
Right, paradoxical.
Right.
Because if you look at an EEG, the brain activity, it looks remarkably similar to being wide awake. Lots of fast, low-amplitude beta waves.
Huh. Awake but asleep.
Exactly. But at the same time, your body's muscles are temporarily paralyzed. It's called atonia.
To stop us acting out those wild dreams.
Precisely. Plus, you get the rapid eye movements, hence the name REM, and your heart rate and breathing pickup, and brain imaging. It shows intense activity in key areas, the amygdala, your emotion center,
Okay.
the hippocampus, crucial for memory, and parts of the prefrontal cortex, too. This flurry of activity is what likely builds those complex emotional dream narratives.
Wow. So if REM is the stage for those vivid, sometimes totally wild stories, what about NREM sleep? How does its brain activity shape the dreams?
Well, NREM is quite different. You have lighter stages than deep sleep stage N3, which has these big, slow brain waves, delta waves.
Right, deep sleep.
Yeah, everything slows down. Heart rate, body temperature drops. And we see specific brainwave patterns, too, like sleep spindles and K complexes.
What do those do?
Well, scientists think they're really important for memory consolidation and maybe for keeping you asleep by blocking out minor disturbances.
Okay. And the dreams during NREM?
They tend to be much more thought-like, less vivid, less story-driven, definitely less bizarre than REM dreams. Sometimes it might just be a fleeting thought or a feeling rather than a whole movie playing out. More conceptual, maybe.
This all happens in cycles, right, throughout the night.
Exactly. We cycle through these stages, N1, N2, N3, back to N2, then into REM. Each cycle takes about 90 to 110 minutes.
And the REM parts get longer.
They do, especially as the night goes on. Early on, REM periods are quite short. Later, towards morning, they get much longer.
Which is why you often wake up remembering a dream from the later part of the night.
That's generally when the most vivid, memorable dreaming happens, yes. Your brain seems to ramp up dream production overnight.
Okay, so zooming out, like you said, one of the biggest reasons for sleep, and maybe dreaming too, is memory consolidation.
Absolutely. That's a really well-supported function. Your sleeping brain isn't just passive, it's actively working. It's strengthening important memories, reorganizing information, integrating what you learned during the day. It's like mental housekeeping, tidying up the files.
And here's where it gets really interesting for me. Our waking life seems to feed directly into our dreams. Like, we're not just dreaming random stuff. We often dream about things we've just experienced or learned, especially new things.
That's right. The evidence is pretty clear. There are studies, for instance, where people wore, say, red-tinted goggles for days.
Okay.
Eventually, their dreams started incorporating that red tint. Or prism goggles that flip your vision upside down after a while. That distortion can show up in dreams.
Wow. So the brain adapts even in sleep.
It seems so. And simpler retrospective studies show it too. Over half of reported dreams have strong links to recent waking events. And yes, novel learning, grappling with something new, seems to be a particularly potent trigger for related dream content.
So is the brain literally replaying the day, like watching recordings?
In a sense, yes, but maybe not a direct video replay. It's called memory reactivation or replay. We first saw strong evidence in rodents. Neurons in the hippocampus called place cells fire in specific sequences when the animal explores a maze. During sleep, those same sequences of firing neurons are often reactivated, sometimes sped up. It's like the brain is rehearsing the route.
And in humans.
We see it too with brain imaging. Regions active during a learning task often become active again during sleep, especially in REM sleep.
Mm.
And that reactivation predicts how well you'll do on the task the next day.
So NREM might be where some of those more direct replays happen, feeding into dreams.
That seems plausible, yeah, when those more factual, episodic memories pop up in dreams.
I read about this great example, the muffin dream. Someone was at Starbucks, totally overwhelmed by leftover muffins, couldn't decide.
I know the feeling.
Right. And later, they dreamt they were in this store just filled with muffins, floor to ceiling, still trying to pick one.
Yeah, it's a perfect illustration. It shows how these, fragments of waking life, even kind of mundane ones, get picked up, recontextualized, and processed. The brain flags it as something worth revisiting, for whatever reason.
It makes you wonder then, is it just the facts of the day, or is it also how we felt about them? Does the emotion in dreams matter for memory?
Oh, absolutely. Dream affect the emotional intensity in the dream seems to powerfully modulate memory consolidation.
How so?
Well, studies show the increased dream effect generally, particularly feelings of anxiety in the dream, predicts better memory retention for all sorts of information learned recently.
Really? Anxiety helps memory.
It seems counterintuitive, maybe. But yeah. And more specifically, higher negative dream effect, like fear or sadness, specifically predicts better retention of related negative experiences or information from waking life.
Huh. So the brain isn't just processing facts, it's tagging them with emotions, maybe to help us learn from those experiences.
That's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
It's like the dream is helping solidify the emotional lesson learned, perhaps to guide how you react in similar situations in the future. And it's not just about specific memories. Dreams, especially in REM sleep, might also be involved in something called synaptic pruning.
Pruning, like gardening.
Kind of. Think of it like cleaning up connections in your brain. Your brain selectively weakens or eliminates old, less important connections between neurons and strengthens the newer, more relevant ones. It's like optimizing the network.
Okay, tidying up the wiring.
Exactly. This helps the brain generalize new information, integrate it into what you already know your existing knowledge networks. It makes your overall model of the world more efficient, more adaptable for when you wake up.
So that's how new stuff gets woven into our existing understanding, our semantic memory, makes everything fit together better.
Precisely. It's like constant software updates for your brain's operating system.
This idea of the brain optimizing itself, it leads to another really fascinating concept. Dreams as the brain's own internal virtual reality. What does that mean for consciousness?
It's a pretty profound way to think about it. See, your brain is constantly building an internal model of the world, right? Predicting sensory input.
Okay, like anticipating what's coming next.
Exactly. When you're awake, that model is constantly checked and updated by real-time sensory information from your eyes, ears, skin.
Right. Reality keeps it grounded.
But during sleep, particularly REM sleep, the brain is largely disconnected from that external sensory input. So dreams could be seen as fictive predictions. The brain is generating an entire conscious world, a whole simulation, entirely from within, based on its existing model and recent experiences.
Wow, a self-generated reality.
Pretty much. And it's quite sealed off. There seem to be these gates, maybe in the thalamus or cortex, that block most external stimuli.
So a noise in the room usually doesn't just pop into your dream.
Rarely, in a direct, coherent way. The internal simulation is pretty robustly insulated. Your sensory cortex might still be active, but it's driven internally.
Okay. And those rapid eye movements during REM, are they just random twitches?
Apparently not. Research suggests they are actually involved in both scanning the dream imagery, as if you were looking around, and potentially even helping to generate the shifts in the dream scene, similar to how eye movements work when you're awake and exploring your environment.
So the eyes are moving as if looking at the dream world.
That's the idea. And P-scans during REM show activity in areas linked to emotion, like the amygdala, memory hubs like the parahippocampal cortex, and areas involved in integrating different pieces of information like the parietal operculum, all working together to create that rich internal VR.
This internal VR sounds crucial then for learning, for optimizing the brain. But you mentioned REM sleep has risks. Why would evolution favor something potentially dangerous?
That's a really key question. The risky physiology of REM is mainly about homeothermy regulating body temperature. During REM, that ability is basically suspended.
So you can't control your temperature properly.
Correct. For many animals, that's a significant vulnerability. Makes you more susceptible to cold or heat.
So why tolerate that risk?
The leading hypothesis is that the benefits must outweigh the risks. The adaptive advantage gained by optimizing the brain's generative model during this offline period must be huge. By taking the brain offline from external demands and some internal housekeeping like temperature control, it gets this unique window to perform really intensive work, synaptic plasticity complexity reduction, all to ensure you wake up with a more efficient, adaptable model of the world. It's a trade-off, basically, a calculated risk for a cognitive advantage.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, if the brain is building this whole internal world,
Yeah.
can we ever become aware that we're in it? Can we step inside consciously, lucid dreaming?
Exactly, lucid dreaming. It's defined as that subjective awareness, knowing you're dreaming while you're still asleep.
How does that work?
It seems to be kind of hybrid state. Brain scans show partial activation in the frontal lobes areas, usually less active during typical dreaming, but crucial for self-awareness when awake. So it's like parts of your waking consciousness switch on within the dream state. It shows that waking and dreaming aren't totally separate, they can coexist.
And people can sometimes control the dream then.
Some lucid dreamers report being able to influence the dream narrative, yes. It's a fascinating area. Interestingly, it seems to peak naturally around age 9 and is apparently easiest to cultivate in young adults.
Still, even with lucid dreaming and all these insights, it feels like there's still so much we just don't know about dreams.
Oh, definitely. We've learned a lot, but big mysteries remain. Our sources point out we still don't know exactly how the brain generates the specific content of dreams. The fine mechanics are elusive.
Right. And why are they so hard to remember sometimes? Even vivid ones just vanish.
That's another puzzle. Why the poor memory encoding or retrieval? And the biggest question of all, arguably, is still why we dream in the fundamental sense. Beyond memory or pruning, is there a core purpose we're missing?
Deeper truths about the brain itself.
Exactly. Scientists hope that cracking the dream code will reveal fundamental principles of how the human brain constructs consciousness and reality itself. And just briefly, this all connects to mental health too. We know disrupted REM sleep is linked with things like depression and PTSD.
How so?
Well, one interesting idea, called the complexity theory of dreaming, suggests sleep, maybe dreaming specifically, helps reduce the overwhelming complexity of daily life and emotional conflicts. If that process fails, if the brain can't effectively simplify or integrate challenging experiences during sleep, it might contribute to difficulties coping with trauma or conflict when awake. It's another angle on why healthy sleep and dreaming are important.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway? Dreams aren't just random noise.
Not at all. They are a complex, powerful, and likely essential brain process. Your brain's nightly workshop, really.
Consolidating memories, processing emotions, tweaking that internal model of the world.
Right. From those wild REM stories to the quieter NREM thoughts, your brain is doing crucial admin work, integrating the new with the old, maybe even problem-solving offline, preparing you for tomorrow.
It's happening every single night.
A continuous, dynamic process.
So here's a final thought for you to mull over next time you're drifting off. Is your dream just looking back, a reflection of your day? Or is it something more active, more creative? Is your brain using dreams to chart out possibilities, to rehearse responses, preparing you for an uncertain future? Could dreaming itself be a key part of how we adapt, innovate, and navigate waking life, a nightly rehearsal for what's next?